Okay, welcome to another edition of The Right Call. I'm Mark Altman here with my partner, Cole Altman. Cole, it's time to preview the Super Bowl. What are your thoughts? Bengals, Rams. If I had talked to you before the season, I said, Cole, could you think Bengals, Rams? Like, is that what you would have thought?
I would have drug tested you, Dad. I
love
really would have drug tested you because, I mean, Joe Burrow going into the season, what was he? He was maybe, I don't know, he was a...
They were not even they were a borderline playoff team at best.
There was a first-round exit team.
Yeah.
And then the Rams with Robert Woods, Matthew Stafford. I mean, they were a playoff team, but they weren't, like, crazy, like, going deep into the playoffs, and now they're both in the Super Bowl. So, honestly, you want to know the two players that I think have really carried them?
I do, but, here we go. Okay, listeners, here comes the great secret. Okay, let me guess. Go ahead.
So, first, the Rams have this stud wide receiver named Cooper Kupp. One of the best receivers I've ever seen in my lifetime. And then you have the Bengals receiver, young blood in the NFL, Jamar Chase. Love this guy, great player, and I both have them as keepers in fantasy football. So, very excited for my future as a champion. And thank you, I appreciate it. So, yeah.
Okay, so...
But I'm serious. I really think those two have carried them.
All right, before we go there, we will preview the Super Bowl in this episode. We're just teasing you a little bit. But before we go there, let's talk about Tom Brady. And so, obviously, he retired this week. And there's 2 points I want to raise about Tom Brady. One is, Cole, you look at the greatest of all time. You look at a guy like Michael Jordan, who didn't go out on top. He went to the Wizards, kind of whittled away those last couple of years, didn't want to hang it up. I don't begrudge him. I'm just saying he didn't exactly go out on top. You look at Bill Russell, who went out by winning a championship in his last season, which is fitting because he's won more championships than any other player.
11-0.
Yep. And now let's talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady was so damn good that even though he didn't win his last game, he rallied them from 3 touchdowns down. So the legacy of Tom Brady is his very last game, he brought a team back again from an enormous deficit. If that doesn't say it all, I don't know what does.
I mean, I agree. I mean, Tom Brady, start to finish, such a superstar. He came into the league, won his first Super Bowl, came out of the league, did his classic game, just couldn't pull it off because of his defensive struggles. But there's no argument. I mean, in basketball, you see there's arguments about LeBron and Mike Jordan. In hockey, there's...
Are you on a first name basis with Michael Jordan?
Maybe
you calling him Mike?
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
You don't call LeBron like Leb, do you?
Well, Leb sounds very odd. So, and then in hockey, there's...
What would you call Giannis?
Jan. So in hockey, there's the debate of Gretzky or Yager. There's the debate in baseball of like Willie Mays, Babe Ruth, people like that. Is there anyone that you can compare to Tom Brady?
There just isn't. And it's
so far.
That's just it. And, it's a great point, Cole. I would say, too, that for all the haters out there who want to say he cheated with Deflategate and Spygate, guess what? Even if I wanted to give that to you, which I won't, even if I did, he still has won more Super Bowls than any other quarterback. This is the whole thing people don't realize. The guy, even if you want to hate him on those things, he's still so much better than everybody else. And the guy's just a winner. And what Tom Brady proved to me more than anything else is Tom Brady did not have the athleticism. He had the smarts, he had the accuracy, he had the decision-making. And that ultimately was what made him amazing. Now, the big story this week, of course, was that Tom Brady, in his thank you to the league, basically thanked the janitor, the housekeepers in Tampa Bay, the hotel support staff, but didn't thank the Patriots. He basically thanked every single possible person except the Patriots fans, Belichick, the organization, Robert Kraft, nobody. And I'm going to tell you, Cole, that was so intentional. And I'm going to make an analogy for you, and you tell me if you agree with this. Okay? And I will acknowledge it may not be perfect, but I don't think it's that far off. If you have a married couple, and the husband in the married couple is growing a multi-million-dollar business, and it takes him 15 years to do so, and in the first 10 years he grows the business, the wife was a huge part of it, big support system, couldn't have done it without her. But then they have an acrimonious, really bad divorce.
Okay.
And then at the 15th year, the person sells the company for multiple millions of dollars. Do you think the husband in the speech, when he thinks, is going to mention the ex-wife? No freaking way.
Well, I don't think that the split between Brady and the Pats was acrimonious.
It was. No.
Acrimonious.
It was absolutely acrimonious. Brady basically was told, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. They underpaid him his whole career, and then in his very last year, they wanted to pay him again. The last 4 or 5 years, Brady wanted Alex Guerrero on the sidelines, wanted some special privileges that he had earned as the GOAT. His teammates have even come out in the Dynasty book. They wouldn't have minded if he had those special privileges, but Belichick still wanted to treat him like a rookie. Belichick wanted to treat him like a rookie even after all those Super Bowls. He didn't want to pay him. He didn't value Brady's skill set at the position. And it was basically like, we don't love you anymore, buddy. So if you're defining acrimonious as like where they at each other's heads in the media, no. But don't be mistaken, Brady left on very bad, sore, bitter terms.
I agree, and that's at the fault of Belichick, and I think that's at the fault of no one else. Belichick did not, like you said, did not treat him like special than anyone else, but he deserved. You know how I feel about treating people on a team, like treating better players more important. I don't agree with that, but if you're Tom Brady, you got to treat him more important or he's going to leave. Like, he loved Tampa Bay because he went to Tampa Bay, and they didn't win before he went there. And then when he went there, they became a Super Bowl team. So that made him feel important. That made him feel special. That made him feel needed. And I think that's why he loved Tampa Bay so much. And I think that, honestly, he probably liked playing in Tampa Bay more than he liked playing in New England. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, and there's a difference here. Let's call out this difference. You know, when Carmelo Anthony went to the Knicks and everything has to be about him, you haven't earned anything to be considered more important yet. When Kyrie Irving goes anywhere and he needs to be the prima donna and the same thing happens. When we say be more important, Tom Brady modeled work ethic. Tom Brady modeled commitment to his teammates. So by having a trainer on the sidelines and maybe missing preseason workouts and stuff like that, that's all he was really asking. And frankly, you would maybe even want him to miss preseason workouts so his body doesn't get so beaten down at his age anyway. So here's my point. Tom Brady was intentional. He was making a statement to Robert Kraft he feels like Robert Kraft didn't have his back with Bill Belichick. He had to choose Belichick or Brady. He chose Belichick. And so I just think that when all the dust settles, Cole, Brady is going to be very appreciative and grateful of the Patriots. But that one moment he wanted to make a statement so it was clear, I'm still mad at you, and this is how I'm going to communicate I'm still mad at you.
I totally agree with what you said.
All right, so moving forward, so no Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. He's done. So let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers in this last game against the Rams. There's been a lot of talk over the years about when the Patriots could have acquired Jimmy Garoppolo. Would Jimmy Garoppolo be better than Mac Jones? Or the Patriots trade Mac Jones and trade for Jimmy Garoppolo? Jimmy Garoppolo sucks.
No, he doesn't.
He sucks.
No, he does not.
Can I just tell you, the 49ers were so paranoid about him doing something stupid in the game against the Cowboys, in the game against the Rams, that the defenses would stack the line with like 8 men in the box, and the 49ers would still insist on running the ball.
No,
hang on. 49ers have arguably two of the top 10 weapons in football, and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle in the passing game.
Top 10?
Yep.
George Kittle, top 10?
Maybe top 15. Deebo Samuel,
top 15!
George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk continues to emerge as a solid receiver, and they're not even using those guys that much. Deebo Samuel's essentially a running back. They don't really pass. George Kittle's been barely involved. Why? Because they don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo to win the game. They're telling Jimmy Garoppolo, don't lose the game. And against Dallas, if you remember, he threw that horrible interception in the fourth quarter. Dallas almost came all the way back, and the only reason they didn't is because Dallas is dumb. But then you go to the Rams game, and here we go again. Jimmy Garoppolo up 17-7 heading in the fourth quarter. Dumb interception, dumb passes across the middle. Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't even want him in Massachusetts, let alone on the Patriots. Overrated. The 49ers have a great defense, a great running game, great passing weapons. Jimmy Garoppolo is absolutely the Achilles heel of that team.
What did Mac Jones do that Jimmy Garoppolo did not do?
Well, Mac Jones actually has accuracy. That was the one thing Mac Jones, and that's what I believe the Patriots saw in him. Brady's strength was accuracy. And Mac, look, he just went to the Pro Bowl skills competition and led the AFC in the accuracy. I trust Mac Jones' accuracy. Mac Jones' judgment, like decision-making and judgment when he's getting blitzed, is a long way to go. He's got a long way, but he's a rookie. Jimmy Garoppolo's been around for a while, and he's making the same kinds of mistakes that you see rookie quarterbacks make.
Kyle Shanahan is a bad coach. I hate him.
Well, now that's an interesting point because
He's
Kyle
terrible.
Shanahan...
He's awful.
You know who Kyle Shanahan's like, the way he blows leads? He's like Doc Rivers, blowing series leads in the Eastern Conference Finals. Doc Rivers has more 3-1 blown playoff series leads than any coach in NFL history. Kyle Shanahan and Doc Rivers, they're like two peas in a pod.
Well, Doc Rivers is a terrible coach, and he's been overrated for so long.
Hey.
Dad.
Doc took us to a championship. Don't be ragging on
No.
Doc. We love Doc.
The Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen, 3 Hall of Famers took us to that championship. Actually, 4 Hall of Famers, Rajon Rondo. So we're gonna temper the excitement on Mr. Doc Rivers.
But none of those guys had won by themselves, though. He had to form Ubuntu. He had to form a culture. How about me getting Ubuntu into this episode?
Okay,
enough with your
Ubuntu.
That's pretty good.
Enough. So, I could have
Do you know Doc's real first name? It's a good young guy like you. It's a tough question.
I don't know, Philip.
Did our listeners just hear him reference the Chargers' former quarterback? That's unbelievable what he just did there.
Actually, Colts' former quarterback as well. I know his son's named Austin. What's his real name?
Glenn.
Oh, I remember that because I used to look at 80s sports cards and see his name on it.
Nicole, in the last episode of The Right Call, you were amazing when we were talking about Deontay Foreman and you were coming with those hyphenated names like Le'Veon Bell. So I was counting on you there. You hit it out of the park the last time.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. But I actually came up with another one, LaMichael Pirine.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Neither of the Pirines are very good.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. All right, enough. So, all right, one more topic before we get to the Super Bowl preview in this episode of The Right Call. You and I had a disagreement offline the other day about the future of the AFC and the elite quarterbacks. Now, clearly, no one would argue that Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes are the cream of the crop. I would argue that Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are basically right there with them. If I had to pick one of the 4 right now, I'd actually probably pick Josh Allen. But my point is, you objected vociferously when I put Justin Herbert in the category with those 3. So are you standing by that?
I'm absolutely standing by it. I think Justin Herbert, he has the same better weapons than the Bengals. He has better weapons than the Bills.
What? Hold on. I need to give you a drug test.
Absolutely.
Did you just say Justin Herbert has better weapons than the Bengals?
Yes.
Jamar Chase,
Okay, hold
T.
on.
Higgins, Tyler Boyd?
Okay, Tyler Boyd, whatever. There's no difference between guys like Tyler Boyd and guys like Jalen Guyton. Jalen Guyton's
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, and then
what?
you have Allen versus Chase, and then you have Mike Williams. So I'd rather have Chase, obviously, but then you have Mike Williams versus T. Higgins.
You'd rather have T. Higgins.
Barely.
Mike Williams can't even stay upright most of the time.
Barely. And then you had the only reason Justin Herbert had 5,000 passing yards is because Austin Eckler catches every single pass.
Oh, since he has Joe Mixon.
He doesn't catch passes.
He does. Yes, he does.
He catches like
not
2.
as much as Eckler, but he does.
No. Eckler, Herbert has 19 scapegoats.
All right, so here,
Jared Cook.
So Cole, final point before we get to the preview of the Super Bowl. Here's the thing: if you're a Patriots fan, here's what you're looking at the next several years. You got those 4 quarterbacks. Whether you want to put Herbert there or not, he's at worst 4th or 5th.
For the next 5 years, I agree that he's top 4.
You got Lamar Jackson, who his stock has fallen, but he's still Lamar Jackson. You might have Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson traded from the NFC to the AFC in the offseason, which means your best quarterback in the NFC is Matt Stafford, which he's good. He's not great.
Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray, who you and I both like, although Kyler Murray's stock, but the weighted lopsidedness of AFC QB talent versus NFC, I don't think we've ever seen this kind of disparity.
We really haven't. I mean, we've seen... when the AFC, when Manning was in the AFC and Brady was in the NFC or AFC, and those kind of guys were in the AFC. I mean, we saw some really top talents in the AFC, but we've never seen this many great guys. Like we've seen, what's the saying I'm looking for? We've seen the quality in the AFC before. We've never really seen.
Were you trying to say quality, comfort, and price?
That's nice. Okay. We've seen the quality in the AFC, but we've never really seen the quantity of quarterbacks that are really that skilled in the AFC. So I think that's really going to be a culture shock for guys like Mac Jones and guys like Tua Tagovailoa and guys like that who are really trying to build teams now and are going to really struggle because there's so many top teams.
All right, so let's talk Super Bowl. Let's talk first about the Rams. You know, where I want to go with the Rams is the Rams from day one were all in this year. They made a bunch of free agent moves in the offseason. They acquired Odell Beckham. They acquired Von Miller.
Mid-season.
And what a lot of people are forgetting about the Odell Beckham acquisition is that was before Robert Woods had gone down. And I believe in my heart one of the reasons they made that acquisition is they felt to beat Tampa and all the weapons Tampa had at that time, they needed all those weapons. Odell Beckham, as the season has gone on, has gotten better and better and built up his confidence. So as far as the Rams go, they did get Cam Akers back, but he's actually been pretty bad so far. So I guess, Cole, if the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl, what's the key?
Well, before I say that, I just want to point out that I was the one who
overrated Odell Beckham?
Not who overrated, who perfectly rated Odell Beckham. I called him an amazing talent who would be rejuvenated in this offense, and that's exactly what happened.
So Odell Beckham is a classic example of a professional athlete that if he doesn't have the right culture around him is a cancer.
No, he's not. He's an amazing teammate. What are you talking?
No.
No.
Well, that's because the Rams are winning. That's my point.
True.
No, the Rams are winning.
That is fake news.
Giants,
I want you
bad.
to do some more research on that.
Giants bad. He's a problem in the locker room. Browns bad. He's ripping Baker Mayfield every minute, ripping the Browns organization. Cancer.
If you
goes to the Rams. Oh, I'm so happy now. Look at how great the Rams are. I'm going to be a good teammate.
If you were a receiver on the Browns, would you be ripping Baker Mayfield and me telling?
I would. I don't have anything to say about that.
Thank you.
I would.
But yeah, I think the key for the Rams to beat the Bengals is their defense. I mean, it's going to be weapons against weapons. It's going to be a pretty high-scoring game, in my opinion. So I think whoever's defense comes up more clutch in the fourth quarter will win that game.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I feel like the Bengals shocked the world with the unbelievable defensive effort they played in against the Chiefs. And so, yeah, I kind of feel like you know what you're going to get from the Rams defense. They've got a lot of talented players, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller. They've got, who's the guy, Michael Floyd, I think, maybe Michael Floyd. They have a linebacker, Floyd. I don't know.
Are you talking about the Rams?
Yeah.
Oh, no, the stars they have on, are you just talking about stars in the Rams defense?
I'm just saying impact players, not necessarily a star.
Donald.
I just said
yeah,
Donald.
Donald, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey.
I just said those three.
Oh, I didn't hear you say
Okay, so
Ramsey.
we're going to have to do a listening class for this.
We're going to have to get you on a drug
reminds
test.
me of
Calling
that-
George Kittle top 10.
This reminds me of that Whose Line Is It Anyway, where Ryan Stiles kept forgetting his lines.
That is true. Maybe
Okay. No, seriously, though, regardless, you know what you're getting out of the Rams defense. The Bengals defense, if they play to the level they did against the Chiefs, I believe they win the Super Bowl. I also think for the Rams, I think, Cole, the biggest key is, Cooper Kupp is so dominant and amazing. Like, he absolutely should be considered for the MVP. I think that you know what you're going to get out of Cooper Kupp. I think the key is the running game for the Rams. The running game just hasn't been very good in these last two playoff games. And if the Rams can run the ball against the Bengals defense and limit the amount of offensive possessions the Bengals have, I think the key is for the Rams to run the ball. And I think for the Bengals, the key is the defensive intensity and effort they play with.
Give the ball to Sony Michel, for God's sakes. He did his job.
Alex, I'll take sentences I'd never thought I'd hear for 400.
Okay, Sony Michel, besides the last 2 years in New England, was super reliable.
No person has ever said, give the ball to Sony Michel.
Yeah, in 2018, he basically carried the Patriots to that Super Bowl win. Like,
Wayne Altman, one of our listeners, hates Sony Michel so much, he puts him in the same league as Kelly Olynyk.
Well, Kelly Olynyk, I loved
It's
Kelly
that
Olynyk.
man bun. I can't take the man bun.
It was better when he didn't even have the man bun.
I'm prejudiced against man buns.
Really?
I think I am.
Really? Wow.
Evan Fournier, that's part of the reason I wanted him to leave. I didn't like the man bun.
Equality for man buns, Dad. Equality for man buns.
No, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't like them.
So, Alex...
Men weren't meant to have ponytails.
Well...
Sorry. Sorry.
Wow.
I don't know what else to say.
That is horrible.
Sorry.
That is horrible. You're
Well-
going to get canceled. You're going to get canceled.
Is this going to be the cancel culture because I just ragged on man buns?
I think so. I think so.
All right. Let's end the right call with the prediction of the Super Bowl, Cole. Who wins and what's the final score?
I think the Rams win. I think the score is going to be 27-17.
Okay, and before I give my prediction, I just want to say I'm an enormous fan of Sean McVay. I just think the guy's done amazing things at such a young age. So I also think the Rams win. I'm going to go Rams 23-20.
I mean, I know you want the Bengals to win, but
I do.
You do.
Very much.
Very much so. But it's going to be a good game. No matter who wins, it's going to be a great game.
All right, so for the president of the Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, Odell Beckham fan club, Cole Altman, and for the president of the Algie Crumpler fan club, I'm Mark Altman. We'll see you next time on The Right Call.